What's up, Yins? This week on Car Dad Bill, we have a 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe 2.5 liter turbo calligraphy edition, all-wheel drive. This one has all the bells and whistles. We'll go over everything. It's actually a really, really functional family vehicle. Let's go for a drive. All right, guys. First impressions of the Hyundai Santa Fe. It's the newest one. It's that polarizing design that everyone's talking about. And I have to say the first couple things are I love the styling. I didn't like it at first. It was one of those cars that you just weren't sure. It was very, very, aggressive and boxy and new. And the taillights are really low in the ground. And the front end has a different look to it. And it's always those new redesigns always have that polarizing effect. But this one, I have to say, once you're in it for a few days and you drive around and you kind of live with it, it is a really, really functional family vehicle. And that's what it's for, right? Their slogan for it is the next level 3-row Santa Fe for next level adventures. And I have to agree. It functions so well for a family that it's hard to go to a minivan. Let's put it that way. You got all-wheel drive. You have all the bells and whistles that I'll show you in this thing. And the first couple days that I drove it, I was actually pleasantly surprised. It was very subtle. It was very easy to use, and I really enjoyed it. But let's get to the full review. All right, guys, standing outside the Santa Fe, brand new, and this one's in Hampton Gray, and it has a really, really nice stance. Again, I love this trim piece here that goes all the way around, and it kind of mimics the black everywhere. There's even two-tone kind of appeal up on the pillars. What do you guys think of those headlights and that light bar across the front? It's super aggressive, super stylish. These are the running lights during the daytime, but now they're flashing with the turn signals. And you have the LED high and low beams inside there. I love this emblem. It's like into the paint. It's not above. It's like inset. Really clean. The front grille is gigantic. And it's starting to wear on me. I'm not going to lie. I think it's a nice design. Really love these wheels. Love the little Santa Fe. The black that goes up, stops up there, continues on the roof rails, goes across. You have two sunroofs in there. You have your nice LED turn signal in the mirror. Just all of this stuff looks clean and boxy and stylish. And then here, this is really cool. This is actually a hook for you to grab onto, put your foot on the wheel, and get up onto the roof when you have stuff on the roof, luggage and whatnot. So that's really neat. I like how that's functional, and it kind of blends into the back window as well. Straight down the back, flat back, zero bumper, and it's got a huge tailgate. We'll go over that in a little bit. Love the Santa Fe logo across the back. One exhaust pipe, two would be nice. I don't like how low the taillights are, I will say. And when you open the trunk up, those bottom lights come on, so you have taillights in the back. But I do like that line that goes all the way around. Really, really sharp. And the wheel wells stick out big. Let's go inside and talk about it. Hey, Yins, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. It helps. It brings us more viewers. It brings us more cars. And I appreciate you guys watching. Talk to you soon. All right, guys, inside the Santa Fe. And a couple things I want to start out with. Number one, we have layering of multiple materials all over the interior. We have design elements everywhere. Everywhere is an H for Hyundai, right? This center, though, you would expect to have a symbol there, and it's not. It's just a detail piece, really clean looking. I love the steering wheel. I love how all of it works together. And then you have this dash. Look at this dash all the way across through the front, through the instrument panel. This is for your thumbprint reader. If this was actually my vehicle, I would have it set up. This is all digital display. So you have your digital display over here which you can swipe through all the different options, and that's your main home screen right there, like that. And then there's this ledge, and I like it. I wasn't sure if I would like it, but now that I'm living with it for a few days, it's definitely cool. Down here we have the HVAC, dedicated buttons, touch screen here, toggle or swivel buttons here, volume control, all your different drive modes and settings down here. Then you have charging galore. You have either charging battery charge. You can select between being, USB for CarPlay or battery. On this one, one's straight battery. Then you have the UV C, the cleanser, which is this side. And then both are wireless charging. So you have two wireless charging pads. You don't lose any storage. I know what you're thinking, and I thought this at first, but down here is where you have the extra storage, and my vest fits in there nicely. You also have the 12-volt plug right there as well. So you have more storage down there. You have storage in here as well, a good amount down there. My coffee cup actually fits in the cup holder, and that's a plus for me as a car dad. So you have good storage. Then you have another storage section up here, which is a button, opens up, and you have more storage up in there. Down below, you have your regular glove box. So you have all this good stuff. Bose sound system all the way around, center channel, Bose sound system down there. The design, the seats, the sunroof in the back. And then you have all that room for kiddos back there, and I'll show you that as well. But one of my least favorite features of the interior is this shifter. I can't stand this thing. You push it in for park, you turn it forward for drive, you turn it back for reverse. You get the nice around view camera, which is sweet, but holy moly, push the button in for park. I can't stand it. And then you have your parking brake on this side, which is totally fine. I like that part of it, and your trunk release down there and everything like that. Another function of the interior is called the driver relaxation seat. And down below here, let me open this up. This button here, okay? I'm going to hit this button, and I'm going to show you what it does. It moves my seat up. And then it tilts me back and lifts my legs up. There's like a little section down there that lifts my feet up. And now I'm laying back. I'm laying down. I'm relaxing. And for all you folks that take kids to sporting events and have to wait in parking lots after practice, you have a nice entertainment system. You have a Bose sound system. And now you have this driver's relaxation seat. Let me get out and show you what it looks like, because you'll never believe it. But look at it. It's driver relaxation, and it actually is very relaxing. And then when you're done, you just hit the button and it takes you back. Moves everything back down to regular, fixes the seat, slides it back into place, and you're ready to go on the next adventure. Tell me that isn't hilarious and useful all at the same time. Let's look at the back. Back seats. The door doesn't open completely 90 degrees, but it's darn close, and it's big enough. I mean, you can still fit into there if you're a bigger person. We have the manual shades in the back, the nice Santa Fe on the door frame. The step plate. These are power seats. The charging is on the actual seat in front of you. They're each heated as well with their cup holders on the side. This button slides the seat forward, and then this button toggles it forward, power, like you don't even have to pull it, it just does it on its own. So now you can step and get to that third row, and I got a goalie bag back there so you guys can see just how big that back seat is, back area is with the seats down. Hit that button again, brings the seat back up into place, and then you have to hold this button in and then push the seat back and let it lock in place, and now it's back to where it needs to be. Let's go in the back. Here's that here's that handle I was telling you about that allows you to jump up on there and get up onto the roof. Around back, we reach underneath. We also have the camera back there, and there's a camera up top I'll show you. So in the back here, tons and tons of space with the seats down. With the seats up, you can see you only have this area here, which is about the width of a golf bag. Not gigantic by any means. Got your vents and your charging back here. Got your stash spots for the belts, so you can hide the belts there when you're towing stuff around. Second row can flop down with these buttons. But with the seats up, it's a 4-seater. I want the 5-seater model with the bench in the middle there. But you have lots of room for kids and for people with the seats down, and you can still do all the storage you need to. So it's versatile. If you're going to take stuff with you, you're not going to be able to take all the people with you. But if you have hockey practice, I can fit 3-4 hockey bags back here and everyone in front of them just fine. Now that I have this tailgate up, you can see that the light came on down there to be the tail light, so people can see you while you have the tailgate up. Push the button down here, it drops, and while it's dropping, I want to show you that this camera here is the rear view camera that's inside on the rear view mirror in there, and I'll show you that in a second. As promised, you have your regular mirror, you can see me in the mirror, and then you flip that, and now you have a view of behind the car with the camera, rear view camera. And I don't know how I feel about that stuff. It's useful on the highway. It's useful around town, I guess. But like, I can see farther with that, with the regular, mirror. But anyway, let's go for a ride. All right, guys, facts and figures of the Santa Fe Calligraphy. While we're sitting here, I got the Monroney from the factory and a couple of the details that I wanted to review with you. 24 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy, 2.5 liter turbo, inline 4, all-wheel drive, 277 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. So it's got plenty of power, plenty of get up and go. You don't need a ton more than that. 8-speed automatic, Hampton gray paint on the outside. It's got the H-Track all-wheel drive, and it has the 21-inch Calligraphy exclusive wheels, which I showed you before, those black wheels. They look really sharp on this thing. I think it's a good job on the wheel selection and on the wheel styling for sure. Power second row seats, captain chairs, driver relaxation seat, pretty cool stuff. Average MPG, they're saying 23. The CDB real MPG is 19.5 up on the dash. I've driven this thing mostly suburban driving, a little bit of highway driving, not a ton of road tripping, not a ton of urban driving. It's kind of like it's a bunch of suburban stuff. So it was, I bet you if you get on the highway and you set the cruise control and you keep it going, you can probably bump it into the 20s. It says highway 28 on the Monroney. So you should be able to push 20-30 miles per gallon, which is probably a good thing for a 2.5 liter inline 4. Yeah, that's about right. As tested price. This is where it gets great. You saw all the doodads that are in this, all the gingerbread that's in this. This vehicle is $49,905. I feel like that's a great price for a great family hauler. I'm a car dad Bill. This stuff is what I live for, really. I get to take my kids to their practices, to school, to gymnastics, to my jobs, to my car wash, to all these different places, and this thing works really well. I mean, I have to say, I was skeptical. It's a polarizing style choice. It's a different style. It's, revamped and all that, and you have your good and bad with that stuff. But this one actually performs super well for a family, especially a family of my size. Let's talk about the good and the bad. So we're going to switch it up this week. We're not going to drive around and talk. I'm going to tell you about the good and the bad real quick here now while we're in the vehicle. Good and bad. The good is lots of tech, good size, style, and a decent driving vehicle. So the lots of tech side, you saw it, right? It's got all the Apple CarPlay, the wireless charging. It's got the dashboard that spans the front of the car. It's got the moonroof. It's got the Bose sound system. It's got the power rear seats, the heated rear seats, all that stuff. All that stuff works well. It works for a family. It works for kids. Kids can charge their phones back here. It's got everything that everyone needs in a vehicle, and it works well. The size, I have to say, it doesn't have the room you're going to get in a Suburban or a Yukon XL in the back or Expedition Max or anything like that. But it's got the third row when you need passenger capacity, and it's got storage when you don't. So if you have like just your family, you can throw that third row down and have a ton of storage. You saw it, that's a goalie bag back there. You can have tons of storage back there when you need it. But then when you need passenger capacity, you can flip those seats up, move these middle seats forward a little bit, and now you have a decent amount of leg room for decent sized people. 5'10", 5'11" people, myself, can fit back there. I can even fit in the third row. I wouldn't want to be back there forever, but I can fit. Style and the driving characteristics. The style of the vehicle we went over when we walked around outside, I think it's cutting edge. I think it's the way of the world now. You have like all these Defenders and Toyota Land Cruisers and boxy G-Wagon style vehicles that people love. And this is no different. This is like a cheaper version of those expensive luxury vehicles. And it's not cheaper as in build quality. The build quality is here. You saw that on the interior. But it's definitely more affordable and definitely works well. And the drive. It's got good braking. It's got even steering and even handling. The motor is a little bit loud on the highway, but it is what it is. You're not going to be winning drag races with this, but with a 311 pound-feet of torque, you are going to get ahead of the pack. You are going to keep up with the flow of traffic. It does have enough power. So, I mean, it drives well. It's a smooth ride, and that's all you can ask for a vehicle this size. Let's get to the bad now. On the bad side of things, that gear selector I showed you earlier is so annoying, and I don't know why it's like that. Well, I do know why it's like that. They moved it off of the dash and off of the console to allow for, more console space and clean up the dashboard. But they just added another stalk on the side of the wheel, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I think it's not helpful in that regard, and I never reached there for the gear selector. I always reach down here, look for a button. They're all changing different ways to do this now, but I never go there for it. So that's annoying, and that's the biggest pet peeve in this vehicle. The driver monitor system is my second thing on the bad list. The driver monitor system is super intrusive. Anytime you're driving and your hand's a little bit in the middle of the wheel or something's in the way of that thing, it beeps at you. Monitoring tools should be there to monitor you if you're falling asleep or whatever, but not to constantly nag you and beep and alert and chime and do all this stuff, because that's called a driver distraction is what it is. It's not alertness and monitoring. It's distracting you while you're driving. My kids even said, "Dad, what is that beeping? Why does it keep beeping?" It's beeping because it's yelling at me because my arm's in the way. And that's, I think, ridiculous. Just my opinion. If you want to monitor if I'm sleepy, if you want to monitor my driving some other ways, whatever, I'm still going to drive how I drive. I'm one of those people. I'm an old man. I'm one of those people that I know how to drive and I want to drive the vehicle. I don't need help from the car telling me that. And when it keeps beeping at me and interrupting my driving, it's a distraction. Off my soapbox. Last thing, headlights. They are nice looking. They are sweet looking on the outside, and for most scenarios, they are well lit up on the road. They have a nice pattern, even pattern across the road. But if you go on back roads and you flip on the high beams, they're not big enough. They're not wide enough. There's not as much of an array as you really want on a back road with no lighting. So like no street lights and you're not on a highway with street lights, it's a little bit tough. It's just not bright enough. They could do a little bit better on that. That's the only thing I want to bring up with that. Otherwise, Car Dad Bill this week, loving the Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy 2.5 liter turbo. It has the 8-speed and the turbo engine, 311 pound-feet of torque, lots of space for the family, some creature comforts that are really welcomed. Real cars, real people for real life. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next week.